Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You probably heard of my syndicated radio show, Coast to Coast, on 3 o'clock Eastern Time every day, 5 days, I should say, from coast to coast. Now, I want to welcome you back to my YouTube site because I am doing my second part of my 4-part series on what is the market going to do. The first part was on April 5th, so you can go and review that if you'd like. So we're going to now do my second part as to what is the market going to do. But in the meantime, remember, anytime during the show, you can sign up free for 10 days, join my gang, where you get the membership, and you get the 10-day free color-coded chart with the membership. Do you know 75% of the people lose money in the stock market because they don't know when to get out of the stocks? In fact, 401ks, they don't even let you sell your stock short to make money when the market's going down. That'd be like buying a car that has forward with no reverse. Isn't that ridiculous? That's insane. Okay, so let's go and move on. All right, we have, as everybody knows, we had the stock market crash in 2008. And then the market turned around and they started to move the market back up. How does that happen? What did they do here? Well, first of all, when you have a market that crashes, that means a lot of companies need to go into bankruptcy. What you really need to do is take the country and put it into a recession. Okay, why? Because recessions are good. Because what they do, sure, they're painful for about a year to 18 months, but you get rid of all the bad companies, you get rid of all the bad management. There's the key. Why keep putting money into those companies? Ridiculous. Get rid of them. Take those assets, reallocate it to the strongest companies, the ones who survived, and to the new startup companies. After all, new startup companies are the basis of our country. It's the backbone of our country. So what did they do in 2008? Well, they didn't want to go into recession. They didn't want to bankrupt the banks. Why? Well, because Baby Bush, remember the Bush family, their empire was started from banking, so they're not going to do that. So what do? Well, they let this company over here, they bail it out. Now, you notice how it's got a little red, white flag? All companies, you notice they always have the red and white flags up there, United States flag. Well, that is to take parking space in your head, that they are patriots. The CEOs and the top management are all patriots. No, they're not. They're not patriots. They're a bunch of scoundrels. They mask themselves using that flag as their patriot. They don't care about America. They don't care about themselves. What they care about is just themselves, their management team, and their biggest shareholders, and that's it. That's all they care about. So that's why they don't want to, again, and who owns these companies? Well, this thing here is called the Federal Reserve. What's the Federal Reserve? Well, the Federal Reserve isn't federal, first of all, and they don't reserve anything, okay? The Federal Reserve is a banking cartel, and it's owned by the richest people in the United States, the 1/100th of 1%. Okay, 1/100th of 1%, about 2,800 families, okay? And they own this, what they call Federal Reserve, and they print money. And they also can decide what's the interest rate. That means they own Congress. That's right, they own Congress, they own the courts, the judges, they own everybody, everything. They even decide who's going to run for president, for God's sakes. What the hell? When you have all the money, you got the printing machine, you got the money, and you control the interest rates, Congress, they're going to do anything you say. So instead of putting companies into bankruptcy, what do? They will take these companies here, print money, and they'll take money and put it into those companies. There's the problem. So they're taking all this good money and they're putting it into bad money, bad management, bad people. They should get rid of that and take the money and put it into good people, the surviving companies, the small businesses that want to start up. Why do they do that? Because this group of the Federal Reserve, the richest people, they own the stock in these companies. They don't want these stocks to go into bankruptcy. They want to go and bail them out. Well, wait a minute. They print all this money and they go, and what do they buy? They buy all their bad assets. They buy all their bad loans. They buy everything, their debt, their bad receivables. They buy everything bad. The only thing they can buy that's decent is treasuries. But see, they don't care if everything is bad Because all they do is put it on their balance sheet. That's all. So they have this big balance sheet right here, right? And they just put it on the balance sheet. What do they care? It doesn't hurt them, right? They printed the money, and by buying all this garbage, it only hurts us. Because every time they print money, that's inflation. That means that every dollar in your wallet goes down. So they're robbers. They're stealing money from us. Or they're stealing basically, I'd rather have a guy come in my house in the middle of the night with a gun and mask. I'd respect him more. So they're stealing from us the buying power of our money. And that's going to hurt our children, going to hurt the country, but they don't care. Now, remember the flag up here? They pretend they care. So what they do is they keep pumping more money in and pumping more money in, and all of a sudden the balance sheet is going up crazy. We started out in 2008 with $450 billion. You know where we are today with this new bailout? Up here. Almost $6 trillion. We're going to be at $6 trillion. But see, they don't care about this because all this money, they just print it. They can print it to the sky. You and I, we're screwed because we're going to soon have to go and we're going to need $100 to buy a carton of milk, for God's sakes. That's called inflation. See, they always lie to you and tell you there's no inflation. Why is that? Well, remember I said they control the interest rates? Well, they've been keeping interest rates down to zero. Why? So they can keep on funding CEOs, fund these CEOs of these bad companies, give them interest rates so they can keep buying their own shares. Now, most people don't understand what that means, stock buyback. Let me explain what a stock buyback is. So remember, the company went broke. They should have went bankrupt. They should have put them out of business. But instead, the CEOs, the very wealthy on Wall Street, all the 1 percentile, that's what they should have done. But they keep on going in and funneling money to them, and they keep on, now what the company does is buy its own shares. Let me explain what that means. Okay. So when you have, let's say this company has 15 million shares, and their earnings are at 4%, right? Well, with 4% earnings, they can spread those earnings, 4% earnings over 15 million shares. Then that means the stock price is going to go up because they have enough earnings, 4%, to move the stock price up. So if the stock price was at $10, it goes to $15. So now the next quarter comes. Same thing. But when the market crashes, and you're at this point down here in the market, well, you're not going to have a 4% earnings. What are you going to have? If you're lucky, you're going to have maybe let's say you have a 3% earning or 2% earning, okay? Well, if you got a 2% earning, you can't spread that over 15 million shares. If you try to do that, what happens? Your stock price, instead of going up, goes down. Stock price goes down. So what do you do to stop the stock price from going down? Print more money, give it to the company. The company comes over here, and they start buying their own shares down. That way, that means that the stock now, instead of the company having 15 million shares, they're going to cut it down to 13 million shares. Because at 13 million shares, what does that mean? That means at 13 million shares, they can make it nicely. At 13 million shares, they can do. If they only have a 2%, guess what? That's earnings are only 2%. They can spread earnings over the 13 million and keep the stock price going up. And that's what they've been doing. So in the meantime, as the stock price keeps on going up, as you see since 2008 like this, it's all fake. Well, what about the country? What about the economy? Well, the economy's not going anywhere because the economy can't grow. The economy cannot grow. So the economy's stuck right here at 2.9%. Can't grow. How can you grow? Remember, the only way a company can grow is you got to have profits. From profits, got to go into business investment. Business investment, got to increase wages. Wages go into savings, build small businesses, and then goes into spending, and the economy grows, and you have a beautiful cycle. Over here, it's all garbage. The economy can't grow because all that's growing is the pockets and the wealth of the very, very wealthy. That's what's happening. But there's a problem with all of this. Every time they keep on buying this debt, okay, all these CEOs, every time they keep borrowing money from the Federal Reserve at zero rates, their debt keeps on climbing, okay? There is the problem, their debt. So their debt keeps on going up, okay? And the problem is you get to a point when the debt is so high, and that's what happened here in 2024. And you remember in 2018 or in 2012, remember the market, okay, or the economy stopped going up. In 2012, the economy stopped going up and the economy started to go down. Couldn't grow anymore. Stayed right at 2.9. So the economy was going down because why? Because earnings are going down. Profits are going down. So while the economy is going down, they keep the stock market going up. How do they do that? They keep reducing the shares. Again, here's the cycle: print money, give it to the business for low rates, so they can buy and keep knocking down their shares. So as long as they can keep on moving their shares down, okay, and because remember, their earnings can't go up. See, the problem is their earnings keep dropping because the economy's not growing. So their earnings drop, okay, because the economy can't grow because they're not putting any money back into business investment. So now you get to a point that you just can't keep buying your own shares back, and the debt is so high. That's what happened here. It got so high, everything stopped. That's why we had the crash. That's why everything stopped, because the debt was so high now. All the debt, not just the corporate debt at $9 trillion. You also had household debt at $14 trillion. And you also had the budget deficits. You got the debt was incredible, and that's why the market started to crash. Okay, that's how it works. So the bottom line is, stock buybacks is a very bad deal. It hurts the economy. All this goes away. A productive economy goes away where everybody benefits. All they're doing is printing money to keep bad companies alive because it only benefits the big boys who have shares in these companies. That's all it is. They don't want to wait and start with small companies and start the cycle all over again. Okay? No, that's going to take too long to start it all over again. They don't want to do that. So they say, let's save the bad companies. And there's no money going to the startup companies. That's why the economy has stayed from 2.9% in 2008 to 2.9% today. There's no growth. The only thing that grew was the stock market, 460%. How can you have an economy growing 2.9% and the stock market going up 460%? You can't. And that's the trick is, again, stock buybacks. Every time you have earnings, you don't have enough earnings, buy your shares back. Federal Reserve will print the money, give it to you, and you go up here and you buy your shares back, drop it again. Next quarter comes out. 2% is your earnings. You look, oh my God, my stock price is going to go down. Go back to the Fed, they print more money, give it to the bad management, they buy more shares down. So their price keeps going up, and that's what keeps going, the stock market keep going up. And to the point that their debt has gotten so high they can't do it anymore. They can't keep taking on the debt. They can't keep going back to the Fed and keep asking them to give them money to buy their own shares back. That's what's happened, okay? So that's why the market finally crashed, because of debt, the huge debt. All kinds of debt just kept going up and up. And if you add in the global debt, we got 262 trillion debt with the global debt, because everybody's copying this system. So this is all trash here. This is what this has been, one big fake market. We never had a recovery. This is all propping up through the Federal Reserve for companies like this to keep buying their own shares down, so when their earnings went down, they could spread their earnings over fewer shares to have fake profits. Okay? That's all it was. But now the debt got so high, couldn't handle it anymore, and that's why we crashed in 2040. All the virus did is one thing. The virus did one thing. It pricked the bubble. See, this was never going to work. What works is this. This cycle here works, okay? profits, business investment, wages. Wages go into savings, goes into small businesses that start, goes into good economic growth. This is trash. And this is what we had, a trash economy, a fake economy. And our president told that as candidate. But guess what? We thought he was going to get rid of all this. We thought this was over. See, this is called the swamp. We thought this was going to be done. But when he got into office, he liked the idea the stock market was going up. Everybody looked at him as a hero. He got addicted to it. Now he's not happy today. So the deal is that, remember, the virus had nothing to do with this. All the virus did is went in and pricked the bubble. It would have happened anyways. So stay tuned for my third series on what is the market going to do. See you on the charts. Remember, sign up. It's free for 10 days membership. My color-coded chart when it tells you when to buy, when to sell, and when to run like hell. Remember, 75% of the people lose money because they don't get it out in time. That's not going to happen with us. I'll prove it in 10 days. Remember St. Jude when you're making money.